Hello everyone, welcome back to Pharmacon tutorial. In this video, we will discuss few MCQs from drugs acting on cardiovascular system. So let's get started. Let us have a look at the first question. What are the consequences of myocardial sodium-potassium ATPase inhibition by digoxin? The options are option A, increased intracellular sodium ion concentration, option B, increased cytosolic calcium ion concentration, option C, increased intracellular potassium ion concentration, and option D, both A and B are correct. Here this sodium potassium ATPase is a cation pump which is present on the myocardial fibers. So digitalis increases the force of contraction by binding with and inhibiting this pump. So this will lead to increased intracellular sodium ion concentration as well as increased cytosolic calcium ion concentration. So the correct answer of this question is option D, both A and B are correct. Moving on to question number 2. Losartan is option A, selective AT1 receptor antagonist, option B, selective AT2 receptor antagonist, option C, non-selective AT1 and AT2 receptor antagonist, and option D, AT1 receptor partial agonist. The correct answer of this question is option A, selective AT1 receptor antagonist. Here this losartan is both competitive antagonist as well as inverse agonist, and it is 10,000 times more selective for AT1 than for AT2 receptor. Moving on to question number 3. The drug contraindicated in pregnancy. Options are option A, labetalol, option B, ACE inhibitors, option C, hydrolysine, and option D, methyl dopa. So the correct answer of this question is option B, ACE inhibitors. Because these ACE inhibitors are fetopathic, that is they retard the fetal growth, and even they causes hypoplasia of the organs, and fetal death may also occur using this ACE inhibitors. So ACE inhibitors are contraindicated in pregnancy. So here is the fourth question. Postural hypotension is a common side effect associated with option A, ACE inhibitors, option B, alpha receptor blockers, option C, arteriolar dilations, and option D, selective beta 1 blockers. The correct answer here is option B, alpha receptor blockers. So alpha receptor blocker, for example prazosin, shows first dose effect which is called the postural hypotension due to the beginning dose of the therapy. So postural hypotension is commonly associated with alpha receptor blockers. Here is the question 5. Digibind is used to option A, potentiate the action of digoxin, option B, decrease the metabolism of digoxin, option C, treat digoxin toxicity, and option D, rapidly digitalize the patient. Here the answer is option C, treat digoxin toxicity. So this digibind, it is a digoxin antibody which is developed to measure the plasma concentration of digoxin by radioimmunoassay, but it is also found effective in treating the toxicity as well. Moving on to question number 6. The following drug given concurrently can enhance the toxicity of digoxin. Option A, phenobarbital, option B, metoclopramide, option C, quinidine, and option D, magnesium hydroxide. So the correct answer is option C, quinidine, which is a drug used as antiarrhythmic agent. And how this quinidine enhances the toxicity of digoxin is that they reduces the binding of digoxin to tissue protein as well as its renal and biliary clearance by inhibiting the efflux transporter P-glycoprotein. And so the digoxin, the plasma concentration of this digoxin is doubled, which will lead to toxicity. Moving on to question 7. The following type of vasodilator is not beneficial in CHF due to systolic dysfunction. The option A is calcium channel blocker, option B, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, option C, nitrate, and option D, hydrolysine. The correct answer is option A, calcium channel blockers. Now discussing question number 8. All of the following statements about hydrolysine are true except option A, it causes direct relaxation of the blood vessel. Option B, it causes dilation of both arteries and veins. Option C, postural hypotension is not a common problem. And option D, it increases plasma renal activity. So this hydrolysine, it is an arteriolar dilator which reduces the afterload. So here the option false about hydrolysine is it causes dilation of both arteries and veins. The correct answer here is option B, it causes dilation of both arteries and veins. So this is the only thing that is exception in case of hydrolysine among the given options. Moving on to question number 9. Dofetilide belong to which class of antiarrhythmic drug? Option A, class 1 drug, option B, class 2, option C, class 3 and option D, class 4. Here the correct answer is option C, class 3 drug. So dofetilide is a class 3 antiarrhythmic drug. Another drug belonging to this class 3 is amiodarone and also dronidarone. Moving on to question number 10. Hypothyroidism is a possible consequence of prolonged therapy with option A, amiodarone, option B, mixolydian, option C, sotalol and option D, procainamide. Here the correct answer is option A, amiodarone. This amiodarone is an iodine containing highly lipophilic antiarrhythmic agent that is belonging to class 3 drugs, and it is a long acting one. That is because of its maximum half-life. It is long acting and so they can be used for chronic prophylactic therapy. So hypothyroidism is mainly associated with amiodarone. Now let's have a look at the question number 11. Potassium channel opener with anti-anginal activity is option A, nicorandil, option B, dipyridamole, option C, trimetazidine and option D, oxyfenadrine. Here among these options, all of the drugs are anti-anginal drugs. The potassium channel opener is option A, nicorandil. So nicorandil, it is a newer or novel potassium channel opener, and this act by activating the ATP sensitive potassium channel, thereby causing hyperpolarization of the vascular smooth muscle. So potassium channel opener with anti-anginal activity is shown by nicorandil. Moving on to the next question. Glyceryl trinitrate is administered by the following routes except option A, oral, option B, sublingual, option C, intramuscular and option D, intravenous. So the correct answer here is option C, intramuscular. Moving on to question number 13. Propranolol should not be prescribed for a patient of angina pectoris who is already receiving option A, nifedipine, option B, felodipine, option C, verapamil and option D, isosorbate mononitrate. Here the correct answer is option C, verapamil. This verapamil, this calcium channel blocker, should not be administered with beta blocker. So here propranolol, it is a beta blocker, and administration of verapamil with a beta blocker will cause additive sinus depression, conduction defects and asystole. Now discussing question number 14. Rebound hypertension on sudden stoppage of medication is most likely to occur with option A, hydrochlorothiazide, option B, prazosin, option C, clonidine and option D, lisinopril. So here the correct answer is option C, clonidine. So clonidine, it is a central sympatholytic agent. So sudden removal of this central sympatholytic agent may result in release of large quantity of stored catecholamines, and that is the reason why they cause rebound hypertension. So clonidine causes rebound hypertension when sudden stoppage of this medication is done. Moving on to question number 15. Sodium nitroprusside acts by causing option A, increased cyclic AMP, option B, stimulation of guanylate cyclase, Option C, calcium channel blockage, and option D, potassium channel opening. Here the correct answer is option B, stimulation of guanylate cyclase. Moving on to next question. A woman in the 28th week of pregnancy has developed pregnancy-induced hypertension with a blood pressure reading of 150 by 100 mmHg. Select the most appropriate antihypertensive drug for her. The options are option A, furosemide, option B, methyl-dopa, option C, propranolol, and option D, captopril. So antihypertensives to be avoided during pregnancy include this ACE inhibitors, then non-selective beta blockers and diuretics. So here the option B, methyl-dopa, is the correct answer. The other drugs, that is furosemide, which is a diuretic, propranolol, which is a non-selective beta blocker, and captopril, which is an ACE inhibitor, cannot be administered during pregnancy. So the correct answer here is methyl-dopa. Moving on to the next question. The following antihypertensive combination is irrational and therefore should not be used. Option A, nifedipine with hydrolazine. Option B, amlodipine with atenolol. Option C, enalapril with clonidine. And option D, enalapril with hydrochlorothiazide. Here the correct answer is option A, nifedipine with hydrolazine. Here, these drugs with different mechanism of action or different patterns of hemodynamic effects are combined together to produce antihypertensive effect. So such combinations are preferred. But in case of this nifedipine hydrolazine, they have a similar pattern of hemodynamic action. So they cannot be combined to produce the antihypertensive effect. So the correct answer is option A, nifedipine with the hydrolazine. Since they have a similar pattern of hemodynamic action, they cannot be given in combination. Moving on to the last question of this MCQ series. The antihypertensive that causes decreased libido and impotence is option A, atenolol, option B, enalapril, option C, prazosin, and option D, diltiazem. Here the correct answer is option A, atenolol. So these are the few MCQs from drugs acting on cardiovascular system. If you find this video didactic and informative, please do subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.